This play has an 83% chance to win in Thursday Night Football, and I'm going to show you what it is in this video. But before we get to that, let's talk about the past week's results. So last week we left off on the 18th right here. All right, so let's go through the 19th, the 20th, 21st, 22nd. So 19th was a Sunday. We had Justin Jefferson to get 60 plus receiving yards. He easily picked that up. Then we had Jonathan Taylor to get 70 plus rushing yards. He easily got that. Then we had Jaden Daniels to get 200 plus passing yards. He ended up getting hurt, so he got pulled. We probably would have won that one because he had 150 at halftime, but he ended up getting pulled. Then we go to the 20th. We had Kyle Connor to get 1 plus point. He ended up snagging that in the third period, so we won that. And we had Baker Mayfield to get 200 plus passing yards. He was able to clip that mark. That was the video that I gave you guys, free pick video. Then we went to the Kings under 7. So the alternate goals, total goals that I've showed you guys in the past as well. We ended up hitting that one. Then opening night for basketball. We had the Spurs over 214.5, which we ended up surpassing that. Then college football, we had Minicucci, 200 plus passing yards. Actually, I need to update that. That was 225 plus passing yards. And he shattered that. That was pretty easy. All right, and then for the NBA, we had the parlay for Giannis, 20 plus and 9 plus, so 20 plus points and 9 plus rebounds. He was able to surpass that one very easily as well. Then we also had Giannis over 45 plus PRA, and he shattered that. All right, so let's go ahead and check our overall results of how this looked. We go to the dashboard here. Let's just go ahead and filter this stuff. All right, let's filter this from the 19th until today. 19th to the 23rd. As you guys can see, over the course of pretty much that was about 3 to 4 days worth of stuff, 4,700 in profit, 9-1, so we only lost one play, which was the Jaden Daniels play, which to be honest with you was a bad beat because he got hurt. We would have been 10-0 literally in the last 3-4 days. All right, gained 2.4 units. Average odds were minus 254. So many people are scared to play these type of plays, but this is what I try to show you guys. Is long term, this is what it looks like. All right, you put together some nice win streaks. So even if you do occur a loss or two, it doesn't kill you. And over the long term, you're still making money and you're still profiting. There's not much more I could show you guys than doing it right in your face. But let's go ahead and get to Thursday Night Football's 83% play. Now, as always, if you guys want to fast forward through all this stuff and you guys just want the picks sent to you every single day that fit the criteria that I'm teaching you, all you got to do is click the link in the description. It's that simple. Now let's go ahead and talk about today's play for Thursday Night Football. Because obviously that's what everybody wants, right? Everybody wants a Thursday Night Football play. Well, you got to dig deep into tonight's game to be able to find something because there's not a lot of options. All right, but what we're going to look at here is a video that I've taught you guys in recent weeks. So we're going to look at kicker alternate points. Okay, now how is this scored? Because some people want to know probably how this is scored. All right, so field goal for a kicker is 3 points. An extra point is going to be 1. All right, that's how it's scored. Now, today's kicker we're going to look at is going to be for Minnesota. All right, Will Reichard. Now, first off, let's rattle off some stats that are key and very vital to this play that we're going to break down. All right, first one is going to be Minnesota field goal attempts on the season. They are 9th, okay? They're the 9th at attempting the most field goals. And the actual number that they have right now that they attempt is 2.3. So they average about 2 attempted field goals per game. Now, on the flip side to this, let's look at the Chargers. Allows the 10th most points to opposing kickers. All right, so the 10th. So we got the 9th most attempted field goals in the NFL right now, going against the 10th most allowed points to kickers. So we got a good favorable matchup right now, obviously for Will Reichard. Now, one thing I like to look at that's important when you're looking at field goal kicking is not just attempted for Minnesota like here, okay? But also made, because obviously it doesn't mean nothing if they attempt it but don't make it. So field goals made. And Minnesota is 4th in the league in field goals made. 4th. Now, their average there is about 2.2. So again, kind of around the same thing here as attempted. Now, the Chargers are 26th in the league in field goals allowed per game. 26th, all right? So they allow a decent amount of field goals per game. And that number exactly is 2.1. All right, so right now we're fluctuating in a lot of the 2s here, right? So 2 field goals definitely allowed, 2 field goals made, 2 field goals attempted. So we got a lot of 2s circulating here. And I'm going to show you why that makes sense in a second. Now, another important stat that you want to look at when you're looking at points is field goals blocked. All right, are the special teams good at blocking field goals? So, first, Minnesota, right off the bat, has 0 field goals blocked. There hasn't been a field goal blocked for them yet, okay? And then, switch it to LA. LA hasn't blocked a field goal this year, all right? So, we got Minnesota hasn't given up a block, and LA hasn't blocked a field goal. So that's something we don't have to worry about, seems like, right? We don't have to worry about a field goal being blocked and stupid stuff happening like that. Now let's go ahead and get into the most interesting part, where we're going to look at the actual number for Will Reichard's points and how the percentage correlate and where we find our edge. So from everything that we looked at previously right there, like I said, we see a lot of 2s, right? 2 field goals made, 2 attempted. So if that sticks and that stays true, that would mean Reichard, all right, would have what? 2 field goals, all right? 2 field goals made equals 6 points. And that's not including any extra points if they score touchdowns, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at his numbers now and where is his edge lie? Because what you're going to find for over-under on points is going to look like this. All right, you're going to find 5.5 for alternate points, and you're going to find 7.5 for alternate points. Now, the odds that you're going to find here are 5.5 is going to be minus 244, and 7.5 is going to be plus 100. All right, so what we're looking for here is obviously going to be the over, because that's the matchup we got. All right, we have the matchup for the over here, for him to go over his points total, alternate points, okay, for field goals and extra points. Now, let's run his numbers on the season. Where does this make sense? Because these two are drastically different, and you're going to see that in a second, all right, how they're drastically different. Now, on the season, for him to go over 5.5, his number is 83%. So he's been able to accomplish this and go over 83% of the time. Now, let's take a look at 7.5. 7.5, he's only been able to achieve that 33% of the time. So look at that drastic difference right there from 5.5 to 7.5. 83% down to 33%. Now let's correlate that with our implied probability to see how drastically different the edge is between just these two numbers. So at 5.5 at 83%, we have what? Minus 244. Okay? 83% probability that that's actually going to happen. Our implied probability now is what? 70%, giving us a plus 13% edge. Now, if we take a look at 7.5, we got what? 33% probability overall, and our implied probability is plus 100, which is 50%. So 50% giving us a negative 17% edge. So what does that mean? Drastically different between 5.5 and 7.5. We wouldn't touch 7.5, right? Because that's a negative edge, and that's not what we want. 5.5, we're getting a nice positive edge here, and that's what we would want. All right, so what we're rolling with tonight is going to be Will Reichard to get alternate points over 5.5. All right, so if he gets 2 field goals, just like pretty much what it's projecting and what it shows, he'll cover that just from his field goals, not including the extra points as well.